Warning. Spoilers inbound. Spoilers inbound.
Guys, welcome to the first ever spoiler cast.
Is that what they're actually called? I feel like we're making that up.
I've heard it, and I don't know if this is what they are.
Okay, great.
I heard the word spoiler cast, so this is what we're doing.
Guys, huge caveat here. We are going to talk unadulterated about the latest Bioshock game.
If you have not completed the game, do not listen to this.
Yeah, don't. You're just gonna be confused.
You may see there's 2 out this week, 2 podcasts. Listen to the other one. Come back to this when you're ready.
Yeah.
Because
beat it at least once is a recommendation.
Here's the thing, guys. I didn't want to learn anything about this game, and I didn't. And if this podcast I had heard, I would have been super mad about it. So do not listen to this.
But guess what? It would have been only your fault. It would not have been our fault.
Yeah. Once again, just don't. If you have interest in getting the surprise of the game.
Should I say beep again?
No, well, you didn't say beep the first time.
Well, I went like whoop whoop.
Yeah, that wasn't a beep. That's a whoop. Anyone could hear that.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, you know the deal, guys. If you even if you're not sure if you're going to play it, maybe don't listen to it, because the things we're going to talk about is specifically the ending, which is kind of important that you don't lose this the sting of the twist.
Yeah, bruh.
If you can call it a twist,
the twist,
which you absolutely can. So, guys, here's the deal: we're going to talk about the ending and the story because a lot of people are having trouble getting it.
Yeah, and we're just going to also discuss it as two
discuss
friends.
Any story and plot points that we want to talk about.
2 friends discussing something.
Any questions we have? Because there's a lot to talk about here, guys.
So let's just jump right in. Tom, you said you had a question.
Well, no. Here's what I'm going to do first: is briefly summarize the ending as I understood it.
Okay.
So that we can be on the same page here.
Okie doke.
Okay. So, guys.
That's wrong. Oh, sorry.
So, guys, as you play the game, blah 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 blah. There's tears and stuff. Blah 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 blah. The end of the game, as far as I could understand, and I feel like I got it, is Elizabeth is now strong enough in this timeline, thanks to destroying the siphon which was holding her back, to take you, the Booker of this timeline, back to where Comstock first was born,
quote unquote,
which was his baptism. This is the very end of the game, guys. Because before this, Elizabeth shows you that she can literally go to like any place and time and dimension she wants to because she has all this power thanks to the siphon being finally destroyed. But you go there to your own baptism, which is where Comstock, who is Booker DeWitt,
main character protagonist,
his alter ego after being baptized after the Battle of Wounded Knee. And so in the ending...
Oh yeah, that's first number 1 major thing. The baptism takes place after Wounded Knee, but before Anna is born.
Before his daughter is born.
Some people don't think that's the case. Guess what? It totally is. They say it a million times.
Yeah.
It's like a week afterwards, so it's 1890.
Okay.
Which is 3 years before Anna is born in Timeline A, or Columbia is launched in Timeline B.
So here's the question. But not the question. So in the ending, you, Booker DeWitt, drown before either are created.
Right. Before you
become Booker DeWitt and refuse the baptism, or you do the baptism, become
Can we call
Zachary...
it bippity booptism?
No, I'm going to call it baptism the whole time.
Okay.
Become Zachary whatever.
Zachary Comstock. And so after you are drowned by Elizabeth, all the other Elizabeths disappear. But you know what's interesting? After going back and rewatching the last credit scene, the original Elizabeth, who you go there with, doesn't fade away in that cutscene.
See, that was the first thing I was wondering. Because I'm gonna assume that's not true because the last boop is her disappearing.
What do you mean the last boop?
Because right at the end of the cutscene, where it's fading to black, you hear last piano.
Oh.
No, that's supposed to be her disappearing and the situation being on. I assumed. And so after the credits, guys, you see a cutscene, Booker DeWitt being at his desk like you've seen a million times before, hearing his child cry, and you go into the room and you don't see if there's a baby in there. It's assumed there's a baby in there.
Well, yeah, because there's crying and like a lullaby.
And it's clearly where the baby would be. So...
It's where babies should be.
It's supposed to be that his baby is fine. Now let me explain this so far, guys. As far as I can understand. That's what happens.
That's what is seen in the game.
That is literally the ending of the game, if you guys are wondering. But here is my interpretation of it. Here's the deal. First of all, I'm hearing a lot of people saying now, well, it's not really right because you kill Booker. In every timeline, Booker dies before he gets to choose to refuse the baptism.
Baptism.
Which this isn't true, because the story of the game is that when you're opening the final door, he's choosing to kill Comstock at his birth no matter what.
Right.
The choice is made when he's opening the door. So he is choosing to end that possible thing. And so when you do that, when you come back and after the credit scene starts, this is a new normal timeline that is not in any way interrupted by the current thing. And if he ever were to choose Comstock and the baptizing, it would always end in the way Infinite went.
Right.
It would never go.
That's the loop. It's a loop.
It's a loop. If he ever gets baptized, it instantly does not go that way because it can't anymore. Because Elizabeth will always happen. That'll always happen. That path is no longer possible in a multiverse thing. Because, guys, it's a multiverse-heavy game. But if he doesn't get baptized, he'll always just be a drunken single father with that kid, and everything will be fine.
Right.
That is how I understood the story. Okay. We're all here now, okay, guys, right? All right. Okay, now we can start with anything we want to discuss. Because guys, you're confused about the timeline. It's straightforward like that. You might be saying once again, but if he was in his own timeline and got to that baptizing, then he could do whatever and the thing could happen again. No, it can't, because of the thing I said before with the loop. Got it, guys?
Well, that's not entirely true, because I actually always interpreted...
This is what I wanted.
I actually always interpreted the ending as being...
He has the choice now?
No, I actually always interpreted the ending being alternate bookers who, for one reason or another, weren't corrupt, who could deal with Wounded Knee and didn't actually go to the baptism at all. Because one of the questions I always had in the game was, if Booker and Elizabeth went back in time to stop Booker from participating in Wounded Knee in the first place, they actually wouldn't have to kill him at all. Because then there would be no need for him to go to the baptism, and therefore Comstock would be stopped and created. But I realize that's a fallacy, because if they had only stopped him from doing it, they would still be creating paths off of alternate realities where he does go to Wounded Knee every time.
If he got stopped before he went to Wounded Knee, he wouldn't be able to stop himself doing it, because his entire thing wouldn't exist. You know what I mean? If he never goes to Wounded Knee, he's never going to either become Comstock or whatever and make Elizabeth, who's a super powerful time-traveling space demon.
Well, yeah, that would still solve the Comstock problem.
True. Okay.
That's all I'm saying. But the point is, they couldn't do that because by keeping Booker alive, there would still be alternate Bookers who would go on to fight Wounded Knee. So that wouldn't solve everything.
Yeah.
That's why the death had to happen.
See, the thing is that the way that you see the final cutscene, the after the credits cutscene, is that everything is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it means that he didn't...
I forget, was it in black and white?
Yes.
Yeah.
It means that he didn't take the baptizing. That's what that means. Because his life is exactly the same as himself when he didn't take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So my first question, it doesn't have a real answer. But here's my first question, is that the Booker you are playing as has AD scratched into his arm.
Yeah.
Hand. Sorry. Yeah. I never actually found out what that was.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not obvious?
Should be Anna.
It's Anna DeWitt.
That's stupid. But it never, it said when he does that or why he does it.
They talk about it in one of the cutscenes.
Well, then explain it. This is what I'm all about.
Yeah.
This is one thing I missed.
When the Lutesses are dragging him through the portal from Universe A to Universe B, which is the one with Columbia and Comstock and all that stuff, they're notice the AD on his hand, and they are like, oh, he must have branded that on his hand because he felt guilty.
Now that you've reminded me, maybe, because, guys, once again, this game is a heavy...
See, that's not the question I thought you were going to ask.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm very disappointed.
Guys, the game has a heavy multiverse thing going for it, in case you didn't already know that.
Yeah,
You're already here. You're supposed to be with us, guys, right?
Yeah, it's Anna DeWitt. That's what it stands for.
Okay.
But my question...
Well, I was gonna explain something. I was going to explain real quick, if you guys don't understand how the timeline of this game you're playing is working. Because I was confused about this, too. Is this going to take too long? Was your question shorter?
I mean, no, I just go ahead.
Okay, so...
I feel like we've already discussed the timeline a lot. I feel like...
We did.
No, I feel like on here we've discussed the timeline.
Well, no, here's real quick, guys, because I didn't get this at first either. Because my thing was, I asked you, I said... Okay, well, this Booker should remember being offered...
Oh, yeah, I actually did want to talk about this as well.
Okay, because maybe you could explain it better than I'm explaining right now.
No, I ask your question, then I'll answer it.
Well, it's not a question, I'm going to explain it.
Well, explain your thing.
Okay, so, I was a little confused about the timeline, because you're playing as Booker DeWitt, the guy who sold his kid
Yeah. He sells his kid in Timeline A.
In Timeline A, and B is
Comstock in Timeline B.
Well,
Universe B.
Yeah, because he's the same person. He obviously can't be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I was confused about. Because I realized that he must have been taken to Dimension B because he is now also... Because he's Comstock
there's
there.
a cutscene at the very end of the game that shows Lutece's dragging you through a portal to the other dimension.
Because I was a little confused during the game. I was like, well, why is his nose bleeding? He doesn't really die in it. But he does die. He's not in his right dimension when you're playing the game. Because the game at the start is kind of misleading because you start the game slightly after where that happens. You've shown that later. That's just what I'm saying, guys. You're in a timeline that is not your original one.
Yeah.
That's why this stuff is happening. That's why you can see yourself. Okay? All right. Just want to get that across the thing.
Okay.
All right. Now go on. You were going to ask something.
Oh, well, I actually had two things I want to discuss, but I'll start off with a question.
Okay.
One question that still remains unanswered for me is, who was Columbia? Because at the very beginning of the game, when you're on the parade, you see the parade floats going by.
Right.
There's a float that talks about how Comstock saw the vision of Columbia from an archangel. The city of Columbia from an archangel called Columbia.
Right.
And that's where he got the idea to build it. So I wonder who Columbia is, because it's obviously probably not an archangel. It's probably either Rosalind Lutece, who's the femme Lutece, or it was possibly some version of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But that's never explained in the game, which is weird.
No, I always assumed that was more hyperbole or an exaggeration.
Yeah, but see, in a game like this, I don't think
It's possible.
Think it is.
See, that's the other thing, real quick. And I'm cutting off both your points all the time.
No. This is Tom C. cuts.
Here's the thing, guys. So in the story, it is explained that Fink, the guy who's the tycoon who owns all the factories and makes everyone poor, basically, in a very basic terms. He owns most of the business, right?
He doesn't make everyone poor. He just keeps them from being rich.
Okay, well, but he's the main business tycoon of the city, like, completely, right? He's like a Fontaine of the last game.
Oh, no, he's even more than Fontaine, because there's literally no other competitors.
Yeah, okay.
He has a monopoly on everything in that game.
So here's the thing, guys. Here's
Except for religion.
Here's the part that's a little bit
hinky.
No, well, not hinky, but not required for the game to explain or expressly tell you. Is that he is getting rich because he is literally stealing ideas from other universes.
Yeah,
because he has somebody, I don't know who, opening the things up. It might be Lutece.
They're not opening it. What they're doing is just, it's like how his brother could hear the music coming through the.
By the way, I'm waiting to use this joke. I don't know if I should use it in a real show, but Bioshock is a game in which they literally say Tears for Fears are geniuses. So I don't know how you should take this game. You know.
That's good.
This music is amazing. Tears for Fears.
But yeah.
This is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
I don't think they ever actually open the tears.
But they take technology from it.
Yeah, they overhear, they kind of figure out how to reverse engineer it. That's how
here's what I want to say. Is that I hear a lot of people saying that, like, Songbird was taken from Rapture, or, like, he took Rapture tech or whatever. And that's how the games are related. But it's not necessarily that. He could literally have taken it from anywhere.
Well, the thing about that is...
Guys, this is getting real...
I kind of think that there's actually circular logic. Because Because remember when Songbird dies, it's in Rapture?
Yeah, you think that he takes that Songbird?
I think that... No, what I think is that somehow they use Songbird to create the Big Daddies. And then Fink uses the Big Daddies to
Not true. You see Big Daddy in the scene where Songbird's dead.
I realize that. I do realize that. But still...
Also, it's never said that in Rapture they can make tears.
That's true, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, but that's something they... whatever.
I'm just saying...
No, it's a good point. It's a good point.
But yeah,
but what I'm saying is, he could have taken it from somewhere else. Because everyone's, like, looking for an explanation on where he got Songbird tech, or, like, where he got Vigors, because plasmids aren't the same thing. He could have gotten it from any dimension, because they really can do whatever.
Yeah, but it's highly
because without the siphon restricting the Luteces, because Elizabeth was restricted by this thing.
Yeah,
she couldn't do things because of it.
Not.
Luteces are basically super omniscient time gods.
Imagine Dr. Manhattan.
They can literally be anywhere, everywhere, at all times, constantly, in every single universe, at all times. So they literally, like, at that point, she was not that good, but she was basically that good.
Who, Lutece or Elizabeth?
Lutece.
Oh.
Because she wasn't like killed yet in the universe as part of everything.
When they made not when they made Songbird.
But she could have still had access to everything.
No. Also, here's my thing. It's my secret theory.
Okay, I like that. We're giving them a little bit of original content, some fan content.
Now, this is kind of what I think, because I always also wondered the motive of the Lutesses,
right?
Because there's talk that the brother.
Wait, when Lutesses? In the Lutesses that are the ones you're dealing with, or the Lutesses who are working for Comstock?
The Lutesses are the one you deal with.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the Time Lord Lutesses. Because they talk about how the male Lutess, Robert.
Guys, real quick, in case you didn't get it, the male Lutess is the female Lutess. They're the same person.
Actually, it's specifically the male Lutess is the Lutess in Booker's timeline, and the female Lutess is the Lutess in Comstock's timeline.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but that makes sense.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Anywho, no, because guys, think about it. You never see any male Lutess recordings in the entire game, in Columbia's.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Anyway, here's what I think. So, the male Lutess wants to get Elizabeth back to her own reality, whatever, because he feels bad that she's going to totally rock New York in like 100 billion years.
Mm-hmm.
But what I secretly think is that Rosalind Lutess wants to do all this stuff because she wants to get revenge on Comstock and kill him forever and ever. Because Comstock was now, don't get me wrong, Comstock is the direct reason that they became super-de-duper strong, infinite god people, because they had fake sabotaged their dimension-traveling machine.
Also, it may sound weird, but despite the events of Columbia never occurring, the Lutesses still exist as multidimensional Time Lords.
Yeah, because they exist in all universes.
Because, it always, no matter what, they're always around.
Because also, guys, that's another thing that not everyone seems to get. The reason Elizabeth has the ability to open the tears and can travel through dimensions.
This is a little bit hokey, but it makes some sense.
Well, it makes sense within the game's universe.
Yeah.
Is when Comstock
at the ending,
when Comstock is pulling Anna, the baby, through the portal, it cuts her finger off, so it leaves parts of her in Booker's original dimension.
So she can always kind of feel that there's something else.
Yeah, it scatters her particles across reality, and there's a voxophone from Lutess speaking about how the universe doesn't like its peas mixed with its porridge.
Yeah.
Basically saying that it's actually kind of the universe's way of trying to get Anna's pieces all back together, otherwise it's kind of effed up.
Yeah,
which is why Lutesses are so strong, because essentially all of their particles are spread across every universe.
Yeah, I was reading an interview with Ken Levine. I think it was him. Basically said he liked the universe being its own super entity that still has kind of like a wild opinion, it still wants to do things its own way.
Mega spoiler. Guess who voices all the dollar bill machines and the Circus of Values?
Who?
Ken Levine.
Nice.
Weird, right?
Circus of Values.
Come back when you got some car. All
right. Anyway, here's what I also want to discuss, guys, because a lot of people are confused about this. I was too. Here we go. So, Comstock and Booker are the same age, right? They don't look the same age, but the thing is, Comstock was working with these machines.
He was working with Lutess female's machine, and it aged him artificially.
And it aged him, so he looks really old. It also made him sterile.
Which is why he wanted to get Elizabeth.
Because this is where I was confused, guys.
Because he wanted to get Elizabeth because he couldn't have a child of his own. See, the thing is here, that's why I think there's some kind of prophet. That's why I think the prophecy, there's something to the prophecy that he mentioned, because he feels the need to specifically search out for his own blood across a dimension. Whereas just being like, oh, well, one of my successors can drown the mountains of men in flame. That's fine, no big deal. I don't really care that much about it. But no, he was specifically I have to get my own flesh and blood to do this to order to fulfill this prophecy that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads me to believe that the prophecy wasn't just him making stuff up. He actually felt a need that this had to happen.
Right, I don't know about that.
I don't know either, that's just what I think.
Right. And so what I wanted to say, guys, is I was confused about that too. The thing is, the time Booker gives up his kid is far, far, far before when Infinite happens.
Yeah, it's 19 years before.
It makes you realize that Booker's pretty old too. Because
he's 38.
Wounded Knee happened when he must have been what?
He was 16.
He had a kid when he was 16?
No. Anna was born in 1893. Wounded Knee was 1890. So he's had a kid when he was 19. Same age as Elizabeth is when the game starts.
Okay. That makes sense. And the game takes place a long time after that. He still, like, misses his kid. And theoretically, this Booker is successful because he is the one in all the multiverses who wants it the most. Like, the Lutesses are helping him the most because they've gone through so many at this point.
Well, also, an interesting thing about that I was reading was that the Lutesses actually experienced all of Booker's attempts at the same time.
Well, yeah, they must have.
Because they see time in a nonlinear fashion.
Yeah, they must.
Therefore, they were able to see every Booker making every attempt to try and rescue Elizabeth.
Yeah, they must have by the
also, guys,
idea of multiverse.
How really kind of sad were you when you get to old Elizabeth at the end of Comstock House, and Booker's like, "I would have come to get you," and she was like, "Songbird kills you every time." I was so sad,
dude. I knew
my jaw literally dropped. I was like blown away.
I knew that had to be the way because as far as you can tell in the game and even after the game, Songbird's like virtually unbeatable.
Now that's guys, I've been working a lot on V as of late because I'm curious about all the stuff.
Guys, here's the thing. Any point I'm bringing up as things people don't know, I'm actually getting from that.
Yeah.
I've been reading threads. Yeah, or from you. You've known most things.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people want. That's what a lot of people are disappointed that you didn't get a chance to fight Songbird, and that's what a lot of people think that there's going to be Songbird DLC in some capacity because Songbird isn't really explained. And I know what you're saying.
Songbird isn't really an enemy.
I mean, by that extension, Big Daddies aren't either.
No, Big Daddies fight you.
Yeah, Songbird fights you constantly to the death.
But it's not trying to. I can't explain what I'm trying to say right. But go on.
I don't understand how.
At the end of the game, it's not your enemy.
That's because you are literally controlling it.
Yeah. Well, it's not like a bad guy.
No, but now there are Big
It has
Daddies.
A goal.
That's what I'm saying. Now there are Big Daddies.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because Big Daddies only.
Okay, I'm taking back the word enemy and replacing it with evil.
Yeah, no, they're neutral if you don't attack them at all.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah.
Wrong word, guys. Wrong word.
But yeah, a lot of people want Songbird DLC because, like I said.
I just don't know what they could do with that.
Songbird isn't exactly explained too much. They talk about basically how it's more or less a Big Daddy because it's a dude in a suit. He flies around killing dudes, but they don't explain who's in the suit. Like, did they volunteer? Is it another Booker?
I'm saying another Booker.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people think. But
because guys, here's the thing: you not only you actually can theoretically find a couple of dead Bookers within the actual game. There's people say the first lighthouse guy is a dead one.
Yeah, that's super debatable though. I've heard a lot of theories about that.
Theoretically, I heard there's another one. I don't remember where it was.
I've heard 2 or 3. It's one of the Bookers that failed. It's Chen Lin for some reason. I think I heard this is very spacious, or not spacious, but this is very not backed upable thing. But I heard actually Ken Levine confirmed that it's Chen Lin.
Chen Lin's what, in the bag?
Yeah, he's the guy in the lighthouse.
I don't know why that would be. He's not that important a character.
Because the thing is, though, that might be kind of Lutesse's dicking around a little bit by like putting him there and like taking him out of the one timeline. But I'm not sure. Or also, it's
he's not out of any timeline that you're aware of in the game.
That's true, but it's just what I've heard.
It could be that, but that does the thing I just said doesn't matter at all.
That's just what I've heard. That's all I'm saying. And also, it could also be just the lighthouse keeper. Because there's a note, also, again, this isn't backed up by anything that I actually saw in the game, because I think I might have missed it. But apparently there's a note, like, right next to him, warning the guy that Booker is coming from Comstock, and saying that he needs to kill him. So the Lutesses actually might have killed him beforehand, because he killed off one of the Bookers when they first tried to get the lighthouse.
Right, I'm still saying I don't agree with that one, just because Lutesses never seem to be killers in any of the timelines.
Well, that's actually what made me think of the whole Lutesse revenge theory that I came up with. Mm-hmm. Because in that situation, they are very. But also, the thing is,
but it does make sense.
Also, the thing is, the Lutesses could have orchestrated his death in any way imaginable. They might have not directly been involved with anything.
That's true. That's what I'm saying is they wouldn't have been so direct as to murder somebody.
Well, yeah, but they could have
I almost don't know that they can. I don't know if they can directly interact with stuff like that. I don't know about that.
I don't see why not.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, they can interact with just about every other physical object in the game.
That's true. They don't actually touch any people, though.
That's true.
I don't think that matters.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think whenever they are almost touched, they don't get touched. And if they were trying to touch someone, it never happens.
Apparently, though, if you shoot them a lot, they comment on it.
I didn't even know you could shoot them. At what point can you shoot them?
When
do you have a weapon near them?
That's a good question. When do you have a weapon near them? Oh, it's probably after the Comstock fight. The first one. Where they go tell you to find all the tears. You still have your gun out there.
Maybe.
Regardless, no, here's what's really weird that I didn't notice until the second... Oh, guys. So I beat the game once on normal. I'm going back...
I beat the game once on normal, just yesterday.
I'm going back and playing 1999 mode, and that's rough.
I'm going to probably start that pretty soon.
But yeah, one thing I didn't notice before the second playthrough was that, you know when you choose the bird or the cage brooch?
Yeah.
Which, guys, that has nothing to do with... That doesn't affect the game.
Literally affects nothing. It affects one thing later.
Does it?
Well, the only thing you'll notice it in is that no other Elizabeth will be wearing it. It's how you know which Elizabeth is the one from your timeline.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. That's how it is with everything. Every choice you have that... Like, if you're stabbed in the hand, if you see another booker in the other things, none of them will be stabbed.
Oh. Yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Also, it's there to reinforce the idea of variables and constants, because the coin flip is a constant because it'll always come up heads, whereas the choice between the bird and the cage is a variable.
Yeah.
But
guys,
also...
in case you didn't get that coin flip thing, there's a few things that the Lutezas say where it's always going to happen. If you didn't... on the first time, you won't notice it, but after you beat the game, you'll notice it. Like, at the beginning of the game, they say he never rows.
He doesn't row.
He doesn't row. That means he literally never rows any single timeline. He never rows the boat. But he always gets heads every single time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even no matter what he chooses, he always gets heads.
But,
there's a couple things like that.
Yeah. But no, one thing that I didn't notice before was that when they walk off screen after you choose the brooch, they disappear.
Yeah. They disappear in another part of the game, too.
Yeah, it's the piano part.
Yeah. They, totally disappear. They disappear in front of you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a thing. Alright, do I have any other questions is a real question.
I don't know if I can answer that, I gotta be honest.
I'm sure I do. I don't, because I'm sure I missed a lot. It's never explained if, okay, here we go. There's no talk about Booker's wife at all, right?
No. It's totally left open.
Because that's something that would not possibly be affected by any Comstock situation.
No, because she always dies in childbirth.
Yeah, she always doesn't exist then. 2, Lady Comstock's ghost is kind of a bit... I don't really understand it too much. Because Elizabeth, I think, is kind of giving you some red herrings. She's talking about how it's not only her ghost, but it's also like...
It's her perception of her...
Perception of
It's
the
her
ghost?
perception of her mother combined with her hatred of her mother.
But what is that? Also, like, it's not... Like, because there's no other instances of, like, ghosts...
No.
So what would that have been?
I mean, there kind of is instances because there's the like people who are kind of like blitzing in and out of reality. They're like the madmen in the Comstock Asylum. You remember those guys?
Yeah.
They were like gray and like not all there, but they like got summoned in kind of when the Boys of Silence saw you.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like ghosts, not really.
That part's a little bit. That part like doesn't really make sense for me. Because I just don't understand what that would have been. Okay, next one. I had one here. I'm trying to remember it.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to get it. Man, I lost it.
Sorry, bro.
It's really important. Oh, no. Here's something I heard, is that the entire game takes place as you're being drowned. Like, when you're being drowned, you're remembering that entire game, and then you're coming back to you being drowned.
Weird.
That's what people are saying. It also... I have a picture, guys, that we can't post... Because I don't want people to see it and get spoilers. But it literally says right here is where the game takes place. In the end of your timeline where you're being drowned.
Huh.
Where both the things mix and you're being drowned. See, right there. Blah, 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 blah. It's saying that it's literally... That's the entire... The game is you remembering it right before you're dying.
Yeah, also, guys...
I don't know if I agree with that.
Also, guys, every time you die and you, like, open your office door again, that's basically a new Booker, like, reality.
Wait, you die? Like in story?
Yeah, like, you know when sometimes when you get killed and, like, Elizabeth drags you off, she, like, works her needlework?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are times when that doesn't happen and you're just in front of your office door and you open it, that's a new Booker, essentially.
I've never had that. Is that only in 1999?
No. Well, it happens if you die and she's not around.
That makes sense. I like that idea.
Yeah.
That literally never happened for me.
Well, no, because I got rocked to the first fireman fight. Or no, I got rocked before the fireman fight in 1999 mode. And I was like, and I got the door opening scene. So yeah, that's basically another Booker coming to Columbia in another timeline. Making an attempt.
Yeah. Okay. Nosebleeds and stuff like that. Why was Booker's nose bleeding before you got to killing Comstock?
Before you got to killing Comstock?
Yeah, there's a few times where that happens.
It's because it's Booker's memories coming back to him from the other timeline. Because, guys, the whole Tom was talking about how Booker doesn't know he doesn't know the male Lutece who he sold Anna to in the first place. He doesn't realize...
Yeah, that was something I was confused about before.
He doesn't realize that he was dragged through the portal at all. There's a quote at the beginning of the game that talks about how the mind will try to create new memories from existing ones if it doesn't have any explanation for what's going on.
Something that didn't make sense until you said it right now.
Yeah. So whenever Booker's nose... Because remember, after you leave the police station in Finkton and the Vox resolution is going on, he has a nosebleed there?
Yeah.
It's because... He remembers in in that particular universe...
He already died.
He already died with Slate in the Hall of Heroes or whatever.
Okay.
So that's him getting a memory that shouldn't happen.
But he only gets the timelines, or he only gets the nosebleeds if he had died in that timeline?
Or if something happened to him in that timeline. I'm not 100% sure, but basically that's what it boils down to.
That makes sense to me, because he also gets one in the... When he finally kills Comstock, he gets one right then because he's killing himself.
And he also gets one where he gets one towards the beginning of the game too, right before you board the Zeppelin for the first time.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, remember when all the guards are standing down? It's really kind of creepy because they're all like praying around you, and Comstock's like, "Hey, how's it going? I know all about you, Booker."
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, he gets a nosebleed there.
I wonder what happened to him in that timeline. Okay.
So that's why I don't think it's always death.
Okay. Also, when you kill soldiers and in a new timeline you come back and they're all like dazed or whatever, how does that make any sense? Because aren't they technically dead in a million different timelines?
Yeah, but I think it's also that because that's what they said. They said they're remembering that they died.
Yeah, but they could have died in an infinite amount of things already.
True, but I don't know. I guess it's just the one that they're experiencing. I guess.
Because I mean. Do they all travel through the tear when you do?
I don't think so. I think that's just Elizabeth kind of... It's kind of like writing over the universe, I think.
I think you're traveling to a new one.
I suppose, but I mean...
that's not true because she can't travel through new ones. When the Cypher's around, she can't go to new places.
That's true.
Because she says later that when she was a kid, she used to be able to literally walk in and go to places.
Yeah.
But you can't do it since the siphon was built. That's why you that's why you break it, so that she can actually go to new places.
Well, she says she can only go through... She says she could only create tears. She said when she was a kid she could create tears. Not that she couldn't go through them, but maybe you're right.
But you can't go through them later.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I had something else there.
Oh, also, guys, the reason that the Lutecas did not take Booker back to just stop him from giving... Why they had him take Anna when she was 19 as opposed to like when she was like 2 was because she was incredibly dangerous and would have no idea how to stop her powers. And Booker would have no chance of like holding on to it. So she would just grow up to be a threat.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that either. I did think about how many more Elizabeths... Like when you were in Comstock House, like I was actually thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, there would be as many Bookers and Elizabeths here as there was before. And so that was kind of neat. I also don't really understand why Elizabeth actually, she is aware that she's a bad person when she's blowing stuff up. She's like, I want to fix this because I'm currently in the middle of doing it.
I think that
maybe she just then realizes how much of a monster she is.
Because they talk about how basically the reason that she becomes evil, quote unquote, is because since Booker was never able to get to her, she basically broke under Comstock's torture. Mm-hmm. So she became evil, but I guess she just had a repentance.
Dude, how rad is that scene where Booker's like, I'm not going to let you kill her or kill him. She makes a effing giant tornado behind. She's like, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, oh. Boop.
Well, because she summons the tornado 2 seconds before that.
Yeah, to save herself, and it's awesome. The tornadoes are rad. The whole game is great. The whole game is great. Guys, we have to get it all out here because we talk on the podcast after this, in case you're wondering. Guys, this is probably going to come out an hour later after the podcast comes out, but we're talking about it before, so we don't accidentally spoil it in the main show.
Yeah, we're getting it all out now.
Yeah. Is there anything else I want to mention? One, why can't they just give you the hand cannon right at the beginning of the game? That would have made that game, man. That would have been a treat. Because I sure don't want anything else. Did you get the thing where you that one Preston E. Downs tape where he captures a Sioux boy in a bear trap?
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome, because later he's like...
No, I didn't get the first one where he captures him. I didn't get the one later where he's like, Booker was a really nice...
That's the best part. The one that you miss is the best.
Oh.
Because he's like, yep, been waiting for you up here. Set up some bear traps. Turns out you're using kids as couriers now. This little Indian boy here can't speak language, but we're just staring at each other. He's bleeding and stuff. I've been feeding him. But I don't know. You're a monster, though. And that's it.
Wait, who was that? Was it Fitzroy or...
Preston.
No, who sent the courier?
Oh, Fitzroy sent couriers to, like, go find him.
Oh.
But, like, he's trying to kill her.
Right.
He hates Fitzroy at the time. But later he discovers someone who can speak Sioux, and the kid, like, tells him, like, how bad his life is. And then Preston E. Downs is like, now I'm coming for you, Comstock.
No, it's Booker. Booker's the one who
really?
speaks Sioux. Yeah, he says in
awesome.
He says in the Vox. Because it's the timeline where Booker's a martyr, so he's like, yeah, I met up with that Booker fellow you wanted me to hunt down for your Comstock. He's a really cool guy. I'm gonna hold his scalp while he rips it off of your head when we find you.
That's awesome. Dude, that's really awesome. Problem is, Preston's the coolest person in the game. You never see him.
Yeah.
Is it implied that he's dead?
I think so, yeah.
Because I think you see something in the police armory where you see his face, like, X'd off.
Yeah.
But it didn't say his name. It said someone else's name.
No, because they use that model a lot. They use that picture a lot. It's like a guy with a fun cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's a cowboy hat guy. That's a problem.
But who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe there'll be a Preston E. Downs DLC.
If you do, you were talking, they might have like a Vox timeline DLC.
Oh yeah, so guys,
how you'd think that
possible DLCs that people have that I've seen people voice interest in. Number 1, Songbird DLC, as I already mentioned. Number 2, Vox Booker, like when he's like fighting for the Vox in that one timeline, and he like storms the Hall of Heroes with Slate and like does a bunch of crap. Excuse me, I burped.
Right.
Really,
it was a long burp.
Sorry. Number 3 is a Back to Rapture one. I don't know what they do with that, but I've seen people want it. Also, number 4, take Elizabeth on a date to Paris.
Don't you think that the Rapture thing was a little bit tacked on?
No, because
they're like, "Hey, here's the first." Like you were, like I was blown away when I first saw it. I was like, "Oh man!"
No, because what it does was it served to cement the Bioshock theme of. Oh, also, guys, it's not a man, a girl, a city. It's a man, a city, a lighthouse. A girl is not mentioned when Elizabeth talks about the constant theme of the Bioshock series.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people say that, and they're all like, oh, well, who's the girl in 1? Because they're a bunch of little sisters. She never says girl. It's always a man, a city, a lighthouse.
Yeah. She would never say that.
Yeah. But no, because it goes, that's what I'm saying. It goes to reinforce, it goes to show that that's the theme of the Bioshock games.
Right. Okay.
Is that it's a man, a city, a lighthouse.
Okay, that makes some sense. How sad was it when the Songbird died? Answer, really sad.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why people want more DLC, because, like, she obviously really doesn't like... She
says she likes and hates it.
Yeah, but, like, when it's dying, she's, like, really compassionate to him.
No, the worst part is its eyes briefly turn green because she's comforting it.
Yeah.
And then it immediately dies. And you're like, okay. Terrific. There's so much emotion, guys. Emotion. Alright, I don't think I
think we're done.
Have any other questions here, guys. Thanks for listening. I don't know how often it'll come up for us to do something like this, but really, we had a lot to talk about, and it was only a week after the game came out, not even, and so it wouldn't be really fair of us to talk about it on the show when you guys would actually want to hear stuff you could actually listen to.
Yeah, you guys would probably be pretty mad.
So, sorry about that burp right there.
Jeez.
Sorry. So thanks for listening to this, if you were done with the game. I hope we cleared something up if you didn't get it. If you don't, email us something you don't get. Maybe we can answer it for you. Because we're smarter than your average bear. The problem is a lot of people are stupid.
The problem is there are a lot of smart bears out there.
Yeah, a lot of smart bears. We got a lot to compete with. Now, guys, if you see anyone who's like, this game's poorly written, they're stupid. We're not stupid. We can explain these things.
Yeah.
Because we have reading comprehension. It's not even reading. Can you believe that? Anyway, guys, email us. Anything you want to do. We're glad to help you out.
So enjoy the regular show.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll see you later.